This video is about to get very surgical.
And I don't care if that talking about killing rappers, saying he's the best. I want him to get back in that bag. I don't care if he apologized. I don't care what happened with 7 Minute Drill. If he's got a double diss, I mean, he has a lot to say, a lot to address. So if he wants to get that off his chest and make that declaration that I'm still one of the best, if not the best lyricists in this generation, please, by all means, do so. I have no problem with that. There's a lot of people out there, a lot of pundits and personalities. He can't say that. He can't go into that bag.
You were the one saying that.
I was.
Bring up the clip.
I was. Bring it up. Bring up the clip. I'm going back on my word.
So this is in no way, shape, or form disrespect to Low. You feel what I'm saying? That's not what's going on here. But I do have to address the fact that this is really what's happening. What you're seeing right now all over social media, this is what's happening. People who had this perspective a year or some change ago, who felt exactly like me and others felt, right, are now switching how they feel, which is totally fine. Time went on. You can change how you feel. I understand that. But now you're bashing us for maintaining this position. The same position that you had. I think that's crazy. The only difference between me and everybody else, or me and the other people who are calling J. Cole for what it is we maintained our position. That's it. But everybody else was with us a year ago. So I just want y'all to take note of that, because a lot of people are gonna try to say we bashing that, we ruining the hip hop space and all this different stuff, all this crazy stuff. But in reality, we just maintaining our position. That's it. And the people who are trying to say this about us are the ones who felt the same way but are now changing their perspective. Once again, which is fine, but you can't then turn around and bash us for maintaining our position. And now that we got that out the way, it's about to get so... You know what? Hit him with the intro again. This video is about to get very surgical. Now, I don't know if y'all saw my last video. Kendrick Lamar is warning J. Cole on Squabble Up. But if you haven't seen that video, after this one, you gotta go watch it, because based on recent events, that theory might actually come true. There's like only one piece that needs to come to fruition for that video to come true. So I need y'all to go check that out after this one. But J. Cole just dropped a mixtape called Birthday Blizzard. 4 songs on it, and he's freestyling the classic instrumentals. Now, I appreciate J. Cole for doing this, right? Especially at his level. He doesn't have to do this. He doesn't have to rap over these classic instrumentals hosted by DJ Clue and all that. He don't got to do that. So I appreciate him for doing that. However, a lot of this feels like a continuation of Port Antonio, bro. And we're going to break it down section by section, down to the molecule. Because there's a lot of propaganda, there's a lot of stuff out there that is gonna try to convince you that J. Cole isn't doing what we can see him doing. So we gonna break this down to the goddamn molecule, I'm telling you. First things first, J. Cole is claiming that he left the top spot on purpose just so that he can reclaim it, man. The top ain't really what I thought it would be. And so I jumped off and landed back at the bottom and restarted at a level where I wasn't regarded as much, just to claim past them again and tell them all to keep up. Hold on, bro. Paint it in a way that he was the best and then left on his own accord. No. You were approached. Confrontation stepped to your door. After you kept talking like you was the best, you had an opportunity to prove it, and then you ran. That's what happened. We were there. You can't rewrite history. I know the internet got a short memory, and that's why people acting the way they acting. Some of us remember. You ran from the confrontation when you were directly confronted. That's what happened. You didn't stand up. You didn't get busy. You dropped 7 Minute Drill. The response wasn't what you thought it was going to be, and you deleted it. I'm cool with people thinking that he did it for his inner alignment and his spiritual alignment. I wasn't against that when he first said it until Port Antonio dropped. So I'm not buying that you jumped off on purpose, bro, and restarted just to climb past them, quote unquote, again. You never climbed past Kendrick in the first place. He continues this by saying, I used to be top seed. Apology dropped me way out the top 3. No problem. I'm probably my best when they doubt me. Watch me. Now, I respect building the redemption arc. Everybody loves a good redemption arc. That's fire. Like, I'm not mad at the redemption arc. But to continue to pretend as if you were undisputably the best in the game doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. The apology did drop you out of the top 3, yes. But don't isolate that from the fact that Kendrick was knocking on your door. That's the part that he won't admit. He's trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, that was just a decision that I made. But I wouldn't have lost the battle, dog. I would have lost the bro. It's the same thing. Before I break down this third thing, bro, I want y'all to just read the lyrics first, because this is going to irritate me, okay? Known as the rap game that's been overcome with loads of marketing plans based on randomly dissing and hating on the next man. I understand. Imagine working hard as you can on this album you plan, hoping it charges your brand, but as soon as you drop it, the world's ignoring again. Got you wondering why till you start to notice the trend. Drama enhances the attention brought to the fans on popular channels, so you want to hop on a bandwagon of battle rapping and throwing shots in a jam. I had my chance, but I dropped it, which means my only option to do the opposite then. Hold on, bro. Let me get this straight, bro. So now you're trying to make it seem like battling in hip hop, saying you're the best in hip hop, saying that you're better than everybody in hip hop, wanting to compete against your peers is the industry's marketing plans. Like, that didn't exist prior to the industry. Like, hip hop don't got multiple elements of battling outside of rapping, dance battles, graffiti battles. What are we talking about? And you got everybody running around trying to reiterate this narrative to put themselves in this moral high ground and not realizing, bro, this is hip hop. Dissing is hip hop. Battle rapping is hip hop. Saying you better than everybody is hip hop. KRS-One, 50 Cent, Kendrick Lamar, we got, bro, Tupac, Nas, Biggie Smalls. What are we talking about? Nigga, you. The same dude who trying to acting like this is loads of marketing plans. Meanwhile, you taking shots at Joey Badass in the same paragraph. How are y'all buying this shit, bro? How? Cut it out. You demonizing an aspect of hip hop that is crucial to the pillars of hip hop. What are we doing? Dissing and all of that is a part of the sport, the culture, wanting to be the best. But because it didn't work out for you, now it's not. And all your fans are using this to protect you, not realizing they are undermining the pillars of this thing. Okay? And then he goes on to act like, look, drama enhances the attention brought to the fans on popular channels. Why are we combining a element of hip hop as drama? It's not drama. It's not drama when we talk about Steph and Bron. It's not drama when we talk about Jordan and Bron. It's not drama when we talk about Brady and Mahomes. It's not drama or none of that when we do that in these other sport elements. Hip hop is a sport too. It's the same reason you keep saying you better than everybody and you're gonna climb past everybody. Cause you're competing. But because you lost, competing and dissing is a problem. Even though you diss probably more than anybody. Like that, how are people buying into this? In the same paragraph that he's demonizing, dissing, and battling, he's dissing somebody. How are y'all playing into this? So you want to hop on a bandwagon of battle rapping. Boy. So now battling in hip hop is hopping on a bandwagon. What are y'all doing? We was talking about this all 2025. How hip hop's a sport. How you gotta earn your keep. How you go get your spot. And now it's drama. Now it's getting on the bandwagon. Now let's talk about the Drake disses, okay? For whatever reason, there are some people that think these bars aren't for Drake. So before I get to the narrative part, I gotta prove why they are for Drake, which won't be difficult at all. There's actually some people that think these bars are for Kendrick, which in my perspective is delusion. But we know that J. Cole is aware that he can amplify narratives against Kendrick without really necessarily addressing him, the same way he did in Port Antonio. We'll talk about that in a different video. But first, let's break down how these bars are clearly about Drake, okay? Number one, a lot of rappers make dough then be prone to lose it. For crumbs, dumb niggas sold they soul to Lucian. That's the first bar. A lot of people's argument that this isn't about Drake is a lot of people are under Lucian. He could be talking about anybody. Okay, if that's the case, he's contradicting the fact that he had issues with dissing earlier in the mixtape. First and foremost. Number one. Number two, Drake is the biggest representation of what he's talking about. The UMG lawsuit was worldwide coverage. In that worldwide coverage, right, you got to notice that UMG put in paperwork that they own the bulk of Drake's catalog. They own the bulk of what Drake has produced over his career. Okay, these are things that other rappers in the past have already rapped about. Think Pusha T on Exodus. You feel what I'm saying? So even if he is referencing multiple people, Drake is the biggest representation of this. You can't say this without Drake getting hit. So even if we playing devil's advocate and all that, Drake still gets hit. But this is clearly for Drake. And what solidifies this for me is these bars, right? He says, from poison of all different sorts they using, if the streams say you winning while your tours is losing. This is the same guy, right, Drake, who has been the most quote-unquote streamed artist of 2025, right? However, he is continuously canceling tour dates because of low ticket sales. How is that possible? How are you the highest streamed person on the charts, right, on Spotify and all this different stuff in Apple, but you can't sell out these venues? Kendrick Lamar is able to do stadiums. You feel what I'm saying? Now, I can understand that these bars could be for multiple people. They could be for the Young Thugs, the Lil Baby, or whatever. You feel what I'm saying? They could be for them too. But Drake is the biggest representation. You are winning, that's technically, with the streams, but can't produce tours consistently right now. Okay? When the math ain't mad, then of course you're juicing. That means the bots is boosting. Who just got exposed for using bots in 2025? Drake. There are other artists, yes, the Young Thugs, Boom Boom, all them too, but Drake is the biggest representation of that. So even playing devil's advocate, Drake is getting hit. Would those bars be about Kendrick? He just did a stadium tour. What are y'all talking about? On top of that, Kendrick Lamar owns GNX. The album he performed at the Super Bowl, the album that he performed worldwide in stadiums to thousands and thousands of people, he owns that album. So how could he be talking about him? Didn't J. Cole also say universal distribution, but I own the music? That applies to Kendrick Lamar. So how could that be about Kendrick? Then, even when we start talking about the deal, right? While PG Lane acts as an independent entity, it utilizes UMG Interscope for distribution, allowing Kendrick to own his masters and have more creative freedom compared to traditional restrictive label deals. So how could this be applied to Kendrick? It's impossible to be applied to Kendrick. But J. Cole knows what he's doing, and we will save that for another video. This is my issue with J. Cole dissing Drake now, right? When he threw you under the bus on Family Matters, you had nothing to say. You had nothing to say. That nigga Cole who's asleep on this, it ain't me. There was nothing to say. Instead, you gave us Port Antonio, where you basically kissing his ass. Drake was posting memes about J. Cole on that plot on these accounts. Posting memes about J. Cole. And what did J. Cole do? He responds with Port Antonio by amplifying narratives against Kendrick Lamar, but then bigging up Drake. So to turn around and start sending shots right now when Drake has filed lawsuit after lawsuit, when Drake is in a position where he really can't even fight nobody back, ASAP Rocky will smoke Drake right now. That stole your flow? Drake ain't got nothing to say to that. Drake in a messed up position. And now you want to bomb on Drake? That's crazy. Especially considering you know Kendrick been shooting at you. You know Freddie Gibbs been shooting at you. It's a few people that's been shooting at you too. And I'm all for it. If J. Cole would have dropped Golden Goose after Family Matters, I'm not mad at Golden Goose. What I'm mad at is dropping Port Antonio after he bombed on you, right? And then waiting until he 89% in the ground. The only thing left of Drake is this part of his head out of the floor. And now you want to bomb on Drake? Now you want to take subliminal shots at Drake that are clearly for him? That's crazy to me. I think that's crazy. A J. Cole and Drake battle right now is like, bruh, you basically punching on somebody that don't got no arms. Drake don't even got arms right now. Drake walking around with no arms, bro. And you punching on him now? I just think that's crazy. I think that's crazy. Now, I'm not mad at J. Cole going to, you know what I'm saying? If you want to go do your thing and get your get back right now, go do that. Especially with, you know, Drake got his thing coming. You feel what I'm saying? And they might drop around the same time. I can see that. But my thing is, why now? Why now? That's my whole thing. On top of trying to rewrite the history. It's just crazy. It's just crazy to me. It's contradictory to a lot of the things that he was saying. It's contradictory to a lot of things he's saying on Port Antonio. It's just a bunch of Port Antonio. We got to find a term for that, bro. We got to. Because that's all that mixtape is. He's rapping. He's rapping on it. And he's rapping good. You feel what I'm saying? But the narrative spinning about certain stuff is like, bruh, I feel like you digging yourself a deeper hole. If Kendrick come outside, if Kendrick say, you know what? I'm done with you talking like that, it's gonna look bad. The propaganda's could help, but it's gonna look bad, bro. It's gonna look bad, bro. Because anybody that got common sense can see exactly what J. Cole's doing, bro. And we gotta call it a spade a spade. We have to. You feel me? J. Cole's a confusing guy. I feel like, and that's okay. It's not, we're not supposed to understand anybody. So that's not really what I'm saying. You don't gotta understand. You know, I don't want J. Cole to try to be understandable for me. All I'm saying is to go from having a dude throw you under the bus to bigging him up and then turning around and shooting at his situation. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy, bro. That's all I'm saying. That's all I gotta say. But like, comment, subscribe, especially if you're new here, especially if you've been here. You gotta check out my last theory. You gotta check out my last theory because I think that shit might land. It might land, bro. You feel me? But I'm gonna catch y'all, man. Y'all have a good day.